Another week of the NFL offseason is about to wrap up, and the New York Giants still have not figured out who is going to be their veteran quarterback option for the 2025 season. Ed Valentine of Big Blue View here to talk about the Giants quarterback situation and whether or not it's really a big deal that the Giants don't have a veteran quarterback yet. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. So, as I said, is it a big deal that the Giants haven't answered their quarterback question yet? At least the veteran portion of their quarterback question. Reality of it is, it's not. It's driving the media, including yours truly, crazy because I'm getting tired of trying to read the tea leaves and figure out what's going to happen and wonder when it's going to happen and sort of be tied to the phone and the laptop trying to make sure that I'm available if and when something does happen. I'm sure it's driving the fan base crazy because everybody wants to know who it's going to be. Everybody wants this to be over with. But here's the reality. As I record this, it's Thursday evening, March 20th. There isn't a game for another 6 months. There isn't practice for several weeks. There isn't an OTA until sometime in April or probably in May, an on-field workout. So it doesn't really matter that there isn't a quarterback today. The draft isn't for another 5 weeks. So it there's no game to be played. There's no rush from the New York Giants perspective to get a quarterback in place. As long as the non-Aaron Rodgers options, the main one, of course, being Russell Wilson, as long as those guys aren't pressing for a decision, aren't putting a deadline on the Giants, aren't saying, if Russell Wilson is saying, I'm going to go to Cleveland if you don't tell me by Tuesday, um, then, then you have some urgency. But right now, there is no urgency on the part of the New York Giants. It still comes down like this. They're going to sign a veteran quarterback as a bridge placeholder, as a guy that will probably play most of the games in 2025. They're going to draft somebody. Maybe that's going to be Shedeur Sanders. Maybe it's going to be Jackson Dart. It's probably not going to be Cam Ward because it doesn't look like the Giants are going to be able to get to Cam Ward. Maybe it's going to be Jalen Milroe. Who knows? But the reality of this is the rookie that they draft is the important part of this equation. It's not the short-term bridge placeholder veteran guy that they sign for 2025. The important part of this equation is the young player they draft who they hope will be their quarterback of the future. I've said again and again, I don't think Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll have a choice in this offseason. Yeah, the quarterback class isn't as good as it was a year ago, but this is where the Giants are. This is the situation they're in. John Mara was 100% clear back in January. The biggest thing the Giants have to do this offseason is find their quarterback of the future. Well, Aaron Rodgers ain't it. Russell Wilson ain't it. Joe Flacco ain't it. Jameis Winston ain't it. Nobody else out there. Kirk Cousins ain't it. The quarterback of the future is in the draft class. And that's the important part of this equation. And no one is going to convince me otherwise. Now, am I tired of the Giants waiting for Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. I came out weeks ago and said that I thought it was foolish for the Giants to sign Aaron Rodgers. I still believe that. There's not that much difference at this point in their careers between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. And the position the Giants have put themselves in is they have decided that Aaron Rodgers is their first priority. Even though we know this week that it sounds like the Minnesota Vikings, at least now, are not going to sign Aaron Rodgers. Maybe later they might, but now they're out on Aaron Rodgers, which takes, at least for the time being, it takes the Minnesota option off the table for Rodgers, unless he just wants to sit and wait and see if maybe in training camp the Vikings change their minds. But the Giants have decided that they will wait as long as they can for Rodgers to say yes or no to them. And I think ultimately Rodgers is probably going to say no. The Giants are willing to wait for that answer. I don't think they should wait. I don't think they should be playing in the Rodgers game. I think that the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. It's just not. With all of the stuff on the side with Aaron Rodgers, with all of the distraction, with everything else, with the fact that he's 41 years old, all of the things that come with Aaron Rodgers, I just don't think it's worth it. Joe Shane and Brian Daboll seem to disagree, and that's their right. It's their job. It's their future. It's their franchise. So we'll see what happens here. There are reports, there's a lot of speculation out there that Russell Wilson wants the Giants, that as soon as they put a pen and paper in front of him, he'll sign it, that he's ready to go, that he wants to come to New York. He and his wife want New York. That seems to have been the case for a while now, but the Giants want to wait out Aaron Rodgers, and that's their prerogative. Um, so we'll see what happens. We'll see how long this takes. But again, as impatient as everybody is, including me, it's just not that big a deal that they haven't gotten, Russell Wilson's name on a contract or Jameis Winston's name on a contract yet, or whoever. It's just not, because there's nothing going on right now. And there isn't a quarterback out there, Aaron Rodgers included, in my view, who should change anything about the way that the Giants approach the draft here in another month or so. It is still more important that the Giants get a young quarterback, get a guy that Joe Shane and Brian Daboll can point to and say, this is our guy for the future. This is the guy we're going to develop. This is the guy we're going to build around. This is the guy we think can take us into the future. So I still believe that the draft is the important part of this equation. So let's talk about the draft a little bit. Obviously, 5 weeks to go. I think 35 days as I record this show on Thursday evening, and a lot of speculation, as to what's going to happen. Seems to be more and more of a consensus from most of the insiders that you hear from, most of the talking heads that you hear from, more and more of a consensus that while they haven't said it, that the Tennessee Titans seem to be setting themselves up to take Cam Ward at number 1, which, of course, there's been speculation that the Giants would like to trade up to 1 for Cam Ward, but it seems less and less likely that that option is going to be there. So then it becomes, are the Giants truly interested in Shedeur Sanders, and will they have an opportunity to get Shedeur Sanders in the draft? Obviously, Giants have the 3rd pick. Cleveland Browns have the 2nd pick. In his most recent mock draft, Mel Kiper of ESPN basically planted his flag on Shadur Sanders as the best quarterback in the draft class and ended up giving him to the Giants with the Browns passing on quarterback at number 2. Todd McShay, now of the Ringer, did the opposite. Ward to Tennessee at number 1, Travis Hunter to the Browns at number 2, or excuse me, and then had Shadur Sanders going to the Browns at number 2, getting the Giants or leaving the Giants shut out. McShay then gave the Giants Travis Hunter and then traded back into the first round, I think at 19 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to get the Giants Jackson Dart, to get in front of the Pittsburgh Steelers and get the Giants Jackson Dart. And that's a realistic scenario. It could certainly happen. Don't know. But what we do know is, as Adam Schefter said on Get Up this week, the Giants and Shadur Sanders have been connected for months and months now. I tend to think, from what I know about Brian Daboll, and I don't have inside information on this, but I tend to think that Brian Daboll's interest in Shadur Sanders is real. I think Brian Daboll is attracted to those sorts of personalities, to those sorts of guys with a little bit of swagger. I think Brian Daboll, we saw last year on Hard Knocks, we saw how attracted he was to Malik Neighbors. I don't think the big personalities are off-putting to Daboll whatsoever. I think that Shadur Sanders, we know that the physical traits may not be top tier. They may not be the physical traits of Cam Ward. They may not be the physical traits of Jalen Milroe. They may not be the physical traits of Jackson Dart. They do meet the baselines for success in the NFL. Arm strength, size, mobility. They do meet the baseline criteria for success in the NFL. We do know also that one of the things that is incredibly important in the New York, New Jersey market is the ability to handle the bright lights, the ability to handle the pressure, the ability to handle the media, the ability to handle all the requests on your time and everything else that comes with being a highly drafted, first round quarterback pick of the New York Giants. Eli Manning was never the most talented quarterback in the NFL. He was never the best quarterback in the NFL during his 16-year career. Eli Manning was the perfect personality for the New York Giants. He was the perfect person for the market, perfect person to represent the franchise. And I think we should remember from the success that Eli had winning those 2 Super Bowls. And I will say, look, 117 and 117 for his career. I get it. But I think the Giants let Eli Manning down more than Eli Manning ever let the franchise down. But you can draw a parallel from Eli Manning to Shadur Sanders, because of the families, because of the personalities, because both of them are guys that were never going to be, the guys looked at as having the best arms, as being the guys with the best physical traits. So you can draw a parallel there. And, I don't know if that's how this is going to play out. Certainly, if I had to guess today, I think I would say you may very well wind up with a Russell Wilson, Shadur Sanders pairing in New York in the 2025 season. And I have misgivings about Shadur Sanders. I have misgivings about Coach Prime, being in the background and being on social media, questioning anything and everything about what the Giants are doing. And looking over Brian Daboll's shoulder and all of that. I have questions, but this may be the situation that the Giants are in. Maybe Shadur Sanders is the guy for them to plant their flag on. We will find out here in another month. But again, my initial point is, look, yeah, I wish this was all over with. I wish there was a decision on the veteran quarterback already. But it'll get done when it gets done. It'll be who it's going to be. I hope it's not Rodgers. I hope it's anyone else on the list other than Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you. But what really matters in the end is which young quarterback the Giants are able to pair that veteran with. And we'll find that out about 5 weeks from now. So patience, Giants fans. This will all be over with soon. It'll all work itself out. The Giants will have a quarterback to play in the games this summer and this fall. They will have quarterbacks on the field when OTAs start later in the spring. So have no fear. They will figure it out. I know it's frustrating. I know we all want the answer. We'll get it when we need it. We'll get it before the Giants have to get on the field. We'll know who the veteran quarterback is going to be before the draft comes. And on the evening of April 24th, we'll probably know who the quarterback of the future is that the Giants are going to bank on to try to help them turn things around. Anyway, Giants fans, thank you as always for watching. Please stay safe out there. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.